Hi, brothers and sisters. It's gonna be a short video. This is just kind of like a little thing that was sparked upon me pretty quickly just after watching a few videos, and it just kind of started to irk at me and bug me. I got to thinking, the division among what you want to say Christians, but followers of Yeshua, right? Is so split up and it's ridiculous. And when I'm thinking about the difference between Satan's army and the followers of our king, Satan has everybody on the same page in the same team, and we are so divided right now. And it's ridiculous. We got pre-tribbers, post-tribbers, mid-tribbers, and that's just stupid because none of it applies to what our scriptures tell us. And the videos I'm watching, everybody's like trying to encourage everybody that we're gonna mysteriously avoid all the problems and the persecutions here in America. We're not going to we're not going to have to deal with any of those problems here because we're going to get swept away and brought up into a rapture. There's nowhere in the Bible that says that. So I want to go over a few things here, and I want to tell you the proper attitude that the scriptures say and that our king told us to have regarding this issue. And that's probably a lot of the reason why it's not spelt out perfectly clearly, because I'm sure our king, in his foresight, and our father knew this was going to be an issue. And this just goes into the selfishness of people. And if people just read directly into the word, and we have a dying love for our Father and our King, then this won't even be an issue. But for some reason, everybody harps and thinks about the rapture, the rapture, the rapture. And you know what's funny is people in other countries, for example, in Iran, Americans are telling some of the Iranians, hey, we're praying for you because you're being so persecuted, even the people in China. And they're saying, no, because that's why the word is growing so much right now, is because we're being persecuted. Don't pray that they stop the persecution, because remember our Father told us if we're being persecuted, that's a blessing to us. And so they have the right attitude, but here in America, we are so spoiled, and it's ridiculous. We think we're going to avoid all this stuff. So I just wanted to go into a couple things, okay? A lot of people quote Matthew 24:13, and they say, well, he who endures to the end will be saved. And they figure, okay, well, I see the Antichrist is about to come on scene, and we're going to be saved because that's the end right there, right? But they don't bother to read verses 6 through 12. So let's read Matthew 24, 6 through 12, which comes before 13. People like to focus on the ones that make them happy, but we got to look at the whole picture. So Matthew 24, and we're going to read 6 through 12. And your translation might be different. I have like 4 different translations here. So it says, they're asking, Yeshua, what's going to be signs of the end? And verse 6, he says, you're going to hear of wars and reports of wars. See that you're not alarmed, for these things must take place, but the end is not yet. For nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there will be food shortages and earthquakes in one place after another. All these things are a beginning of the pangs of distress. Then people will hand you over to tribulation and will kill you. And you will be hated by all the nations, not just some of them, all the nations, on account of my name. Then too many will be stumbled and will betray one another and will hate one another. Many false prophets will arise and mislead many. And because of the increasing of lawlessness, the love of the greater number will grow cold. But the one who has endured to the end will be saved. So yeah, there's the cherry on the top. The one who endures to the end of all those things will be saved. Okay, us in America haven't been delivered up to die yet. We haven't endured those persecutions on a very big scale like the other countries have. Let's look at some of the countries that are doing that right now. China is enduring a complete attack on Christianity right now. They are tearing down any believers in Yeshua. They're tearing down churches left and right, and they're putting them in concentration camps. They are being persecuted right now. Russia is attacking many denominations of Christianity. They are not going as far as killing them right now, but they are imprisoning them. Iran, Pakistan, Afghanistan, most of the Middle Eastern countries, they are being not only imprisoned, but they're being killed on the for sake of our king's name. Okay, then you got Africa, who's been dealing with this probably for over at least a couple decades, where they're just straight up slaughtering them in the name of Yeshua. They're just killing them because they're believers in our king. Okay, my point here is, are we any better than those people? Our brothers and sisters overseas, don't they deserve the same thing we do? What's going to make us be able to avoid that when they haven't been able to avoid that? They're just as faithful as us. If not, actually, I'm willing to bet most of them are probably a lot more faithful than most of the people here in the United States, because not only do they deal with living in a third world country and lack of money, lack of food, lack of resources, but on top of that, their government hates them and has hated them forever for loving the true God and our Father and his Son, Yeshua. I still get hung up on words. I've been saying those words for 40 years. Our English language sucks, but anyways. So what makes us think that we can personally avoid this? All these videos I'm watching, people are thinking, oh, he's going to come and we're not going to have to deal with any of these problems. We're not going to have to live with persecution. We're not going to be under trial. No, that's not what the scriptures say. We're going to avoid the wrath of our Father when he's doing judgment, and our king is doing judgment on this earth. That's what we're going to avoid, not the persecution. We're supposed to look forward to the persecution. That's going to be the part where we prove ourselves to our king. So let me read another scripture here. Same scripture. Let's go to Matthew 24, and let's go to verse 20 and 21. Okay. It says, keep praying that your flight may not occur in wintertime nor on Sabbath day, for then will be great tribulation, such as not occurred since the world's beginning until now, nor will occur again. Okay, if you just take a minute and pause and think about that, why would he command us to pray not for this thing for tribulation to happen on Sabbath or in the wintertime if we're not going to be here? If we're going to be raptured, we don't have no reason to pray. Why would he command us to pray then? Because we are going to be experiencing some tribulation, aren't we? Right? Doesn't that make sense? I mean, the problem is we're so indoctrinated by all these big churches that we don't just pause and think about the scriptures that they're saying right there. We are going to be experiencing the tribulation. Now, as far as a different viewpoint on this, the 144,000, they have been under tribulation since their birth, basically. Okay, so those ones may experience some sort of a change or difference and not have to suffer as long, because they've been suffering their entire life. They've been going through trials and tribulations since their birth. They've been a giant target with a bullseye on their back. Let me share one more scripture. And like I said, this is going to be a short video. I'm tired of people thinking they're gonna be able to just jump out and get whisked away by our King and not have to prove themselves, not have to go through any trials or tribulation, and because that's what the scriptures say, we're not held accountable for wrath. Well, don't our brothers overseas, shouldn't they have the same privilege as us? Don't they believe the same things as we do? So why did they have to go through these things? Because that's not what these scriptures are talking about. We are to be persecuted by this world. That's our lot in this life. That's how we prove our loyalty to our King and our Father. But the things we're not allotted to is the wrath of our Father, the wrath of Him, not the wrath of Satan's persecution. Our Father's not the one who's persecuting us, and our King's not persecuting us. It's Satan who's persecuting us. So, Satan, trust me, our Father's his wrath is going to be a lot harsher than Satan's, because that's going to be like some massive judgment going on. Okay, let me just read this last scripture here, Matthew 16:24 through 27. Okay. Then Jesus said to his disciples, "If anyone wants to come after me, let him disown himself and pick up his torture stick and keep following me. For whoever wants to save his life will lose it. Whoever loses his life for my sake will find it." Really, what good will it do if a man if he gains the whole world but loses his life? Or what will a man give in exchange for his life? For the Son of Man is to come in the glory of his Father with his angels, and then he will repay each one according to his behavior. Okay, so we are to have the attitude of disowning ourself, picking up our torture stake, and being ready to die for our faith. That is the attitude of a true follower. Our attitude shouldn't be focused on being whisked away, and all the videos we make and all the time we spend is saying, oh, we're going to get whisked away any second, any minute now, we're going to be whisked away, and we're going to get to avoid all this, yay! No. That's the complete wrong way to look at things. The way we should look at things is, I'm ready for my test. I'm ready. Let's go. Let's do this. I'm gonna prove myself to my Father, and I'm gonna prove myself to my King. Let's go. How far you want to take this, Satan? Let's go. That is the attitude we should be having. Not how quick can we get out of here and avoid all these problems. Because us people in America are ridiculously spoiled. And we have everything at our fingertips. And we've never gone without. And our big complaints are, oh, my Wi-Fi is not working. Oh, man, I really wanted a hamburger tonight, but I had to eat what was in my fridge. That's our complaints right now. In other countries, these people barely make enough money to feed their family or themselves. They barely have a place to stay. Some of them don't. And they're blessing and praising our Father and His Son with all their energy. And on top of that, they're being persecuted. On top of that, they're getting their churches ripped down. On top of that, they're being put in prison. On top of that, they're being killed and dismembered for loving our Father and our King. So we need to stop with this rapture garbage, because don't you think our Father is a fair person and his Son? Don't you think they're fair? Do we in America deserve better than those people? No. I think our trials are going to be a lot harder than theirs, because we've had it so easy. You know, I'm actually scared for a lot of people, because I know a lot of people aren't going to be able to deal with it here in the States. It's going to be too hard on them because we are so stinking spoiled and hypnotized by our cell phones and our TVs. So that's one thing I pray about a lot, and I'm going to pray a lot more, because a lot of us think we're just going to just get raptured up and that's it. We don't have to deal with any problems. Man, how nice was that, man? Yeah, it was pretty rough. I had a headache the other day, and I'm so glad I can be done with this wicked system. And no, no, no. We have no idea what suffering is here in the States. We don't even know what suffering is. Now, granted, if you're part of the 144,000, you do know what suffering is. Trust me. The 144,000 know what suffering is, because they've been targeted and hit with all kinds of stuff since they were born. Okay, but the rest of the true followers, yeah, we've probably had a little bit of targeting here and there, but it's nothing like what people overseas are dealing with. So with that, guys, I just hope that we can start having the right attitude and coming together and agreeing that we all as followers need to have the same attitude. We all need to be prepared to suffer and die for what we believe in, for our Father and our King. We need to be prepared for that, because that may be on the horizon very soon. So, especially with this new disease that's coming out, coronavirus, and now that's an interesting thing too. You look up the definition of corona, and it means somebody with a crown or a king, and a disease onto that. So think about that. And it also talks about eclipse of the moon over the sun, and a king and a disease. So could that be the ushering of a false Messiah coming in, and maybe an attack on our people? Could be, I don't know. So, but just please, guys, get prepared, because it's going to get worse for a lot of us. So we need to be ready for it and stop listening to all this ear tickling that all these channels are doing. Oh, any second we're going to get raptured up. We're going to avoid all this mess. Oh, we're going to be out of here. I don't believe that. Don't believe that for 1 second. We need to prove ourselves, So I hope you can all adhere to this message and take it in prayer to our Father and through our King Yeshua, and think about it. Just think about all our brothers and sisters and what they're going through overseas, and and how good we have it compared to them. So I love you all. Please think about this message and take it in prayer to our Father. Okay, all right. Thank you. Bye bye.